Okay, now we're going to just go ahead and we're going to start doing the naming, and then we're going to be writing the formulas for the naming. We're going to use this same thing here because it's extremely important. So you're always going to have this thing handy. We are now just dealing with the binary compounds. And I'm going to go with the red because it's a little easier to see. And we're going to get started with this part anyway. So let's say I'm using an element that is Na, which is sodium. And then I'm going to use an element which is in this region here. I'll just use selenium. Okay, so you're going to have to work with the wording part. I'm going to kind of make this a little sharper so you can kind of see it a little bit better. So if I'm dealing with this and this as far as naming, that's going to be sodium. Then I'm going to look at this element, which is selenium. Since I'm dealing with two elements, I'm going to end it with I-D-E, because I have two elements. Now, if you're going to be looking at what it's going to look like as far as writing the name of it, it's going to be Na2Se. And again, I'll show you how you come up with that one. Now let's go ahead and do another one that's going to be red region and the green region. And again, I'm dealing with ionic compounds as far as the naming system. I'm trying to use a whole variety of these here so I can show you the endings on it. So let's deal with phosphorus, and let's deal with barium. If you're going to see the symbol for this, it's going to look like this. Now as the part of the naming, I just go ahead and name this one. I don't get creative with it, I just use whatever's here and leave red. And then this part here with the phosphorus, again, I have to keep in mind two elements that it's going to end I-D-E. Some people will put phosphoride, that's fine at the beginning, but again, we try to shorten it up a little bit, and we try not to add that R part with it. So it's going to be barium phosphide. Let's go ahead and do another one. Let's go ahead and go with this one, which is Mg. And let's go with this one. Let's go ahead and do nitride. So if I'm looking at my symbol again, I'm going to have something that kind of looks like this. Again, naming system, magnesium, and we have to put in nitride. We're not really extending it, making it longer, but we don't do nitrogide or whatever it is. Nitride sounds a whole lot better. Okay, that will take care of that part. Let's go with the naming on the middle part. So we're going to do the same thing here, but we're going to take the middle part and we're going to have, let's go manganese, and then we're going to do the sulfur part. We'll make it nice and easy. We're just going to go M, N, O. I can show the different variations of it. We just have to remember when we're dealing with the blue part, now we're going to have to deal with Roman numerals. So in the naming part now I have to pull in my charges. I'm going to look over here, it's going to be 0, -1, -2 for my charge here. Because I have to figure out what my Roman numeral is going to be for this one. I call this a canceling out. But I'm going to go ahead and just name everything all the same way. So this is going to be manganese. That's going to be oxygen, but again, I-D-E ending. So that's going to be oxide. And then I have to take into account this -2 charge. Since you see nothing down here, it is a cancellation. So what's going to cancel out a -2? It's going to be a +2. I can't use the +2, I have to use the Roman numeral for it. So it's going to be my +2 charge, which is going to be reflected by a Roman numeral. Let's go ahead and do another one. I'm going to use M and an O again, just to kind of show you the variations of it. And again, kind of illustrate that my naming is going to be changing based on what I'm seeing as far as my formula. So let's go ahead and go with MN2O7. Now I have numbers at the bottom, but I'm going to worry about the naming first. So again, manganese, oxide, and now it's an unbalanced one. I know this is the -2 charge, but so for some reason that's going to match up with this. Again, we're not writing formulas yet. This number is coming from the manganese, so as a rule of thumb, I'm going to look at the end in order to figure out what my Roman numeral is going to be. In this case, my Roman numeral is going to be a 7. So then all I would have to do is just pop in the Roman numeral, which is for 7. VII. All the Roman numerals are provided in the PDF. Make sure this doesn't pop out again. Sorry. Oops. One second. I don't know how I changed the size of it. Good. That's horrible. Let's go back and I will put it back on here. So again, those little things are actually going to change your naming part. Let's say I change that to a 3. The only thing that's going to change is your Roman numeral here, which again, I'm looking at that last one. So basically all you have to do is kind of think about canceling and stuff. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to change it out, because manganese cannot have that charge. So let's go ahead and go with gold. And then I'm going to go with arsenic. Again, I'm dealing with an ionic compound and I'm doing the naming. I got 2 elements. Let's go ahead and write the formula for this. We're going to notice when we look at the formula, this is going to be a canceled out one. Canceled out because there's nothing at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and just name it gold, arsenic, arsenide. I kind of figured out already what my canceling is going to be out for this. It's going to be Roman numeral 3 because it cancels it out. And again, if I wanted to change this out, let's say I wanted to do this. Now I would look at the last one because I have numbers down at the bottom now, or subscripts. Let's go ahead and go with the last one, which is my covalent ones. So let's go ahead and go with the formula, like, let's say we're going to go SO3. SO3. Now I have them both in green. That's a covalent compound because they're the same color. Let's go ahead and name it. Same way. Sulfur oxide. I talk about the frame. This is going to be the same frame. We now deal with my prefixes because this is going to be the prefix part for both elements that are nonmetals. So now I look at the thing. I cannot use mono with this one, but I do use the 3 as far as a prefix. So it's going to be called sulfur trioxide. Once you start doing it, it just normally becomes part of it, but you still have to practice it. Let's go ahead and do another one. Let's say I got P and I've got O. Let's say my formula says P2O7. Same frame, phosphorus, oxide. Now I'm going to have to deal with my prefixes. That's going to be my first prefix, di, because the di goes with the P. And then the 7 is going to be called heptaoxide. Diphosphorus heptaoxide. Let's go one more. You do have to use prefixes in some places. So let's say I have C and let's go S. And we're just going to call it CS. Now I do the same framing, carbon, 2 elements, sulfide. I do have to have a prefix somewhere. I know now that I cannot put something here, but I can put it on the last part. So it's going to be carbon monosulfide. That is how you name binary compounds. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually write formulas for it. And that's when we're going to use our charges.